Welcome to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries. Imagine constantly being told you're lazy, scattered, or not living up to your potential. Now, imagine hearing those words so often that they become your own inner dialogue. For someone with ADHD, these labels feel like a heavy weight, shaping not just how others see them, but how they see themselves. In Small Talk, 10 ADHD Lies and How to Stop Believing Them, Richard Pink offers a lifeline to anyone who has felt trapped in a cycle of self-doubt, confusion, and frustration. ADHD isn't just about being easily distracted or fidgeting too much. It's a complex neurodevelopmental condition that affects every part of a person's life, relationships, work, self-esteem, and even the way they think about their own abilities. And with it comes a host of myths and lies that people with ADHD hear and internalize, whether from teachers, family members, colleagues, or even their own thoughts. These are lies that whisper, "You're broken, you'll never succeed," or "You're not trying hard enough." But as Pink reveals, these are just that, lies. With a compassionate, no-nonsense approach, Pink breaks down the 10 most damaging lies that people with ADHD are taught to believe. More importantly, he shows you how to stop buying into these false narratives. He doesn't just debunk the myths, he gives you practical, actionable steps to rewrite your internal script, empowering you to see ADHD not as a hindrance but as part of what makes you uniquely powerful. What makes Small Talk so compelling is how Pink combines personal stories with insights drawn from psychology and real-life experiences. He doesn't sugarcoat the difficulties that come with ADHD, but he also doesn't let those challenges define the entire story. Pink knows what it's like to feel misunderstood, to struggle in environments that weren't built with ADHD minds in mind, and to internalize the world's negative perceptions. Yet, his message is one of hope, transformation, and reclaiming your narrative. Instead of focusing solely on ADHD's challenges, Pink emphasizes the strengths often hidden beneath the surface: creativity, intuition, hyperfocus, and out-of-the-box problem-solving. These are traits that, when understood and embraced, can become superpowers. The key is learning to manage the parts of ADHD that complicate life, while fully owning the parts that can propel you forward. In this book, Pink provides a roadmap not just for managing ADHD, but for thriving with it. He offers tools for overcoming procrastination, improving focus, and building healthy routines, tools that are simple yet profoundly effective when applied consistently. More than that, he helps you understand why ADHD brains work the way they do, and how to stop blaming yourself for things outside your control. Whether you've just been diagnosed, have been living with ADHD for years, or know someone with the condition, Small Talk is an essential read. It's a guide to understanding that ADHD doesn't define you, the stories you choose to believe do. And with Pink's help, you'll learn to choose better stories. Introduction: The Power of Lies and Self-Perception. Pink opens the book by addressing the profound impact that ADHD has on self-perception. The authors introduce the idea that living with ADHD often leads to the internalization of certain lies or false beliefs. These lies are not only harmful to self-esteem but can also stifle personal growth, perpetuate cycles of failure, and prevent people from realizing their full potential. One of the core messages of the book is that ADHD is not a reflection of someone's worth or abilities. Instead, it's a condition that affects how people process the world around them. Pink stresses that ADHD comes with its own set of strengths, such as creativity, resilience, and hyperfocus, which are often overshadowed by the challenges. The book's mission is to clear away these misconceptions and help readers reclaim their sense of self-worth by understanding the truths behind the lies they've been believing for far too long. Lie number 1: I am lazy. The first lie Pink tackles is one of the most common misconceptions about ADHD, the idea that people with ADHD are inherently lazy. This belief is rooted in the struggles many people with ADHD face when it comes to organization, follow-through, and task completion. From the outside, it can seem like a lack of effort or motivation, but Pink delves into the science behind ADHD, explaining that what might look like laziness is often a result of executive function deficits. ADHD affects the brain's ability to prioritize tasks, manage time, and sustain focus, which can lead to procrastination or avoidance. Pink emphasizes that this is not a character flaw but a neurological reality. He offers practical strategies, such as using time management tools, creating structured routines, and breaking tasks into smaller steps, to help readers counteract these challenges. Lie number 2, I'm not smart enough. Many people with ADHD struggle with self-doubt, often because they've been told or have internalized the idea that they're not smart enough. Pink explores the myth that ADHD is linked to a lack of intelligence and counters it with research showing that ADHD has no correlation with intelligence. In fact, many people with ADHD are highly intelligent and creative, but their unconventional way of thinking can sometimes clash with traditional academic or professional environments. Pink and Emery discuss the importance of recognizing and nurturing one's strengths, particularly the creative and out-of-the-box thinking that often accompanies ADHD. By reframing intelligence as multifaceted, they encourage readers to value their unique abilities and talents, rather than measuring themselves against conventional standards. Lie number 3, I can't focus on anything. Another widespread belief is that people with ADHD are incapable of focusing. Pink unpacks this lie by explaining the concept of hyperfocus, a phenomenon where individuals with ADHD become deeply immersed in a task they find stimulating, sometimes to the exclusion of everything else. This shows that people with ADHD can indeed focus, but their focus tends to be interest-driven. The challenge lies in engaging attention on tasks that are not inherently stimulating, and Pink provides strategies for overcoming this. These include using timers, setting deadlines, and creating external incentives to make mundane tasks more engaging. He also encourages readers to harness the power of hyperfocus by aligning their work and personal lives with their passions. Lie number 4, I'm too disorganized to succeed. Disorganization is a hallmark of ADHD, and for many, it feels like an insurmountable barrier to success. Pink dives into the reasons why ADHD makes it difficult to stay organized, from trouble with working memory to challenges with time perception. He emphasizes that disorganization is not an inherent trait but a manageable aspect of ADHD. The book offers a variety of practical organizational techniques, such as decluttering spaces, using digital tools to keep track of tasks, and creating systems that cater to ADHD brains. Pink also stresses the importance of self-compassion, noting that organization is a skill that can be learned and improved with time and practice. Lie number 5, I'll never be successful. This lie speaks to a broader sense of hopelessness that many people with ADHD experience, particularly if they've faced repeated setbacks or failures. Pink emphasizes that success is not out of reach for individuals with ADHD, but it may require a different approach. He points to successful people with ADHD, such as entrepreneurs, artists, and innovators, who have leveraged their unique thinking patterns to achieve great things. Pink also emphasizes the importance of defining success on one's own terms, rather than adhering to societal expectations. He encourages readers to focus on their strengths and passions, and to set realistic goals that align with their personal values. Success, he argues, is not a one-size-fits-all concept, and those with ADHD have the potential to excel in ways that are meaningful to them. Lie number 6, I can't control my emotions. ADHD often comes with emotional dysregulation, which can lead to intense feelings of frustration, anger, or sadness. This can create the false belief that people with ADHD are unable to control their emotions. Pink addresses this by explaining how ADHD affects the brain's ability to regulate emotions and offers strategies for managing emotional responses. He highlights the importance of mindfulness, therapy, and developing coping mechanisms to navigate emotional challenges. Pink also emphasizes that emotional intensity can be a strength, as it often fuels passion, creativity, and empathy. By learning to channel these emotions constructively, individuals with ADHD can develop greater emotional resilience. Lie number 7, I don't deserve help. Many people with ADHD struggle with asking for help, often because they believe they don't deserve it or that they should be able to manage on their own. Pink challenges this belief by emphasizing that ADHD is a legitimate neurological condition that often requires support, whether from loved ones, professionals, or tools like medication and therapy. Pink encourages readers to seek out the help they need without shame or guilt. He stresses that asking for help is not a sign of weakness, but a necessary step toward living a fuller, more balanced life. The book also provides guidance on how to communicate needs effectively, whether at work, in relationships, or in educational settings. Lie number 8, I'm a bad friend or partner. ADHD can sometimes strain relationships, leading individuals to believe they are bad friends, partners, or family members. Pink explores the unique challenges ADHD brings to relationships, such as forgetfulness, impulsivity, and difficulties with communication. However, he counters this with the idea that these challenges do not define a person's worth or ability to maintain meaningful connections. Pink and Emery provide strategies for improving communication and understanding in relationships, such as setting reminders for important events, being open about ADHD with loved ones, and working together to create systems that minimize conflict. They emphasize the importance of self-compassion and understanding that everyone has strengths and weaknesses, including in relationships. Lie number 9, I can't finish anything I start. Many people with ADHD struggle with task completion, which can reinforce the belief that they are incapable of finishing anything they start. Pink addresses the underlying reasons for this, such as difficulties with sustaining focus, boredom, or becoming overwhelmed by large tasks. He encourages readers to reframe this struggle as a challenge of task management, rather than an inherent flaw. The book offers practical advice for improving task completion, such as breaking tasks into smaller, more manageable steps, using visual aids like progress trackers, and celebrating small wins along the way. Pink also highlights the importance of setting realistic expectations and recognizing that everyone has different paces when it comes to getting things done. Lie number 10, I'm just not good enough. Perhaps the most insidious lie of all is the belief that people with ADHD are simply not good enough. This belief often stems from years of feeling different, misunderstood, or inadequate in comparison to others. Pink tackles this lie by affirming that ADHD does not diminish a person's value or worth. He emphasizes the importance of self-acceptance and encourages readers to embrace their differences as strengths. Pink also discusses the power of reframing negative self-talk and replacing it with affirmations of worth and capability. He shares stories of individuals with ADHD who have overcome self-doubt and gone on to lead fulfilling, successful lives. Building a supportive network. One key aspect Pink and Emery focus on is the importance of a strong support system. ADHD can be isolating, particularly when people feel misunderstood or judged for their struggles. The authors encourage readers to surround themselves with individuals who understand and support their journey, whether through friends, family, ADHD communities, or professional networks. They suggest that being open about one's ADHD with trusted individuals can lead to more understanding and meaningful connections. Pink and Emery also discuss the value of seeking out ADHD-specific support groups or therapists who specialize in neurodivergent issues, as these professionals can provide tailored advice and strategies that are better aligned with ADHD challenges. Finding the right tools. In addition to emotional support, practical tools are a major theme in the final chapters. The authors provide a wealth of suggestions for managing daily ADHD challenges, from digital apps for time management to strategies for improving focus and productivity. They highlight how the right tools can bridge the gap between intention and execution for people with ADHD, making it easier to accomplish tasks and meet goals. Some of the tools mentioned include task management apps, habit trackers, mindfulness apps, and organizational tools like visual calendars or bullet journals. Pink and Emery emphasize the importance of experimenting with different tools to find what works best, since ADHD manifests differently in each individual. Advocacy and self-compassion. The book also delves into the importance of advocacy, both in the workplace and in personal relationships. Many people with ADHD feel uncomfortable asking for accommodations or voicing their needs, fearing they will be perceived as weak or incompetent. Pink and Emery challenge this notion, arguing that asking for accommodations is not about seeking special treatment, but rather about creating an environment that allows individuals to perform at their best. They offer tips on how to have productive conversations with employers, teachers, or colleagues about ADHD, and how to frame accommodations in a way that highlights their mutual benefit. For example, requesting a quieter workspace or flexibility in deadlines can improve focus and productivity, which ultimately benefits both the individual and the organization. In the personal realm, Pink and Emery advise readers to practice self-compassion. Living with ADHD can be frustrating, particularly when dealing with repeated failures or setbacks. The authors remind readers that perfection is not the goal and that learning to be kind to oneself in moments of struggle is crucial for long-term growth. They advocate for celebrating small victories and recognizing effort, rather than fixating on perceived shortcomings. ADHD and creativity. A final major theme of the book is the unique strengths that ADHD often brings, particularly in terms of creativity. While much of the book focuses on managing the challenges of ADHD, Pink and Emery also celebrate the fact that ADHD brains are often wired for divergent thinking, which is the ability to generate creative ideas by exploring many possible solutions. This strength can lead to innovation, problem-solving, and creative expression in fields like art, entrepreneurship, technology, and beyond. The authors encourage readers to embrace their ADHD brains and recognize that their unconventional thinking is a gift. They suggest finding outlets for creative expression, whether through hobbies, side projects, or professional pursuits, as a way to harness the positive aspects of ADHD. By leaning into these strengths, people with ADHD can shift their focus away from their struggles and towards their potential. Final encouragement. In their final words, Pink and Emery offer a message of hope. They reiterate that ADHD is not something to be cured, but rather understood, managed, and embraced. By dismantling the lies that have been ingrained through societal pressures and self-judgment, individuals with ADHD can reclaim their narrative and begin living more authentically. The authors stress that while the journey of living with ADHD can be difficult, it is also filled with opportunities for growth, self-discovery, and personal success. With the right support, tools, and mindset, individuals with ADHD can achieve their goals and lead fulfilling, meaningful lives. The book closes with a reminder that everyone's path is different, and that success is not about conforming to others' expectations, but about finding joy and purpose in one's own unique journey. Conclusion: a call to reclaim your story. Small Talk, 10 ADHD Lies and How to Stop Believing Them is more than just a guide to managing ADHD, it's a powerful call to action for people to reclaim their story and redefine what success means for them. Through heartfelt writing, real-life experiences, and practical strategies, Richard Pink and Roxanne Emery deliver a book that is both empowering and deeply compassionate. Their approach is not to fix or change people with ADHD, but to help them break free from the limiting beliefs that hold them back. The book encourages readers to embrace their differences, leverage their strengths, and create environments that support their growth. By tackling the harmful lies associated with ADHD and replacing them with truth and self-compassion, Pink and Emery provide readers with the tools they need to thrive. One of the most profound takeaways from Small Talk is that ADHD isn't a flaw or a personal failure. Rather, it's a different way of interacting with the world, one that comes with unique challenges, but also unique strengths. The lies that ADHD feeds into, whether it's the belief that you'll never be organized, or that you can't finish what you start, are just that, lies. And with self-awareness and practice, these false beliefs can be dismantled. Pink's emphasis on community and connection is also vital. Throughout the book, he reminds us that we don't have to carry the weight of ADHD alone. Seeking support from those who understand your experience, be it family, friends, or professionals, is a crucial step toward thriving. ADHD is not a solitary struggle, and by building a support network, you empower yourself to live authentically and successfully. More than just a guide to debunking myths, this book is an invitation to embrace self-acceptance. It's easy to get caught up in the negative cycle of believing that ADHD makes you less than or that it will always limit what you can achieve. But Pink's compassionate approach shows us that ADHD can be a source of strength and creativity, as long as you stop letting the lies control your narrative. In the end, Small Talk leaves us with a sense of hope. Pink reminds us that ADHD doesn't define you, your choices, your resilience, and your willingness to challenge false beliefs do. While ADHD may create obstacles, it also offers a different lens through which to see the world, one that can be colorful, creative, and full of possibility. So, as you close this book, remember, the lies about ADHD don't have to be your truth. You have the power to rewrite your story, to live with intention, and to turn your challenges into opportunities. With Pink's guidance, you can break free from the myths and step confidently into the life you deserve. Please read the book to learn more and consider subscribing to support the channel. Thank you.